Hello and welcome back to my channel, or if you did not know, my name is Robin and I am a queer book YouTuber, and today I'm going to be talking to you about probably some of the best horror I've read in a very long time. So Chuck Tingle has wrote a lot of incredible mini books, including titles such as Pounded in the Butt by My Own Butt, Space Raptor Butt Invasion, by the Bigfoot Pirate Haunts My Patience, My Billionaire Triceratops Crazed Union, Donald Trump pounded in the butt by the handsome Russian T-Rex who also peed on his butt and then blackmailed him with the videos of his butt getting peed on, slammed in the butt by dinosaurs billionaire laundry detergent, slammed in the butthole by the concept of linear time to tingle your butts, living inside my own butt for 8 years, starting a business and turning a profit through common sense, reinvestment and strategic target marketing. Slammed in the butt by my Hugo Award nomination. Deserved. You know, a lot of classics. A lot of classics. And if those titles haven't enticed you into reading a Chuck Tingle book, don't worry, because Chuck Tingle writes gay horror as well. And these two books are some of the best gay horror I have ever read. And I have literally finished Camp Damascus this morning, which I'm very, very behind on. But I felt compelled to sit down and convincing you to read Chuck Tingle. Am I tempted to make a video of me reading all of Chuck Tingle's erotica, even though there's over, I'm sure, like 300 short erotica books, all with very interesting names? Yeah, of course I'm very tempted, because these were incredible and I'm very, very sure that I will love the erotica as well. I really think Camp Damascus is sort of held as like one of the best queer horror stories of, you know, this generation. But I did read Bury Your Gaze at the beginning of this month and it blew my mind. It was so incredible and so amazing that I became a Tinglist stan. So of course that meant I had to then go and read Camp Damascus, because I have watched other people's reviews and sort of compare these books to each other, and everyone was saying how gross and how intense Camp Damascus was, and I was like, oh, okay, so it's not exactly what I thought it was. And I tell you what, I think I was getting it confused with another Camp like something book that I'm sure is a YA book. It's a book that follows Rose Darling, who is a, 100% devout Christian who lives in a Christian neighborhood, who gives to her church, she doesn't swear, like she is 100% when you think of like cult. At the very start of the book, she is sort of celebrating the end of year in graduation. They go to this lake and you can sort of dive into the lake from a cliff. Before she jumps into the lake, she gets the visions of this very disgusting like being, but doesn't look human, sort of has like black ratty hair, like white eyes, and is wearing a big chunky metal collar and is just staring dead at Rose. And Rose is a little bit terrified, doesn't know what to do with this information, but sort of like brushes it off and, goes on with her day. And that night she ends up throwing up a lot of flies. And as she is throwing up these flies, she, starts doing research into what flies there were, how this could have happened, and her parents are sort of warning her against ever doing any research into things, because it's ungodly to research into things, because it was God's plan that she swallowed all these flies. She sees this demon being quite regularly at this point. She goes to the local doctor who has all of these like Christian, like the award for best Christian doctor on the wall and stuff like that, and she begins to question a lot of things. As she's driving home from this meeting, she ends up driving away and just sort of like trying to clear her head, and she bumps into somebody that says, "I don't want to see you right now, get out of my sight, I don't know who you are, get out of my way." And she has no recollection. She does not know who this person is. She's never seen this person in her life. So she gets in her car. She is then greeted by another demon being, a different one, and this makes her crash her car. And things start to go downhill from there. And things start to clip into place, and she starts to realise that she's seeing these demons every time she has gay thoughts. And she starts getting memories and realises that she went to this place called Camp Damascus, which is a conversion camp that has a 100% success rate, and she wants to find out how and why they are doing it and how she ended up there in the first place. And this book is very, very, very good. Oh god, I need to talk to somebody about it, but I don't have anyone in my life that that really reads books. This book is beyond incredible. Of course, the imagery itself is very on the nose, but I think this book is a fantastic horror book. It's very tense, it keeps you on your toes, and I love all the characters in this. They are all really good. When I read a Chuck Tingle book, I can see every single, it almost reads as a script to me. It's so full of description and it's so alive. It just feels so alive. Like when I read the pages, I can see every single thing. I can see the camera frame, I can see who is playing these people, I can just see everything. I can see every single sentence that is written in here. I can see in a movie in my brain, which is a weird thing to say, but but as an avid reader, imagining like certain scenes and stuff like that I can do, but this was genuinely like shot for shot, sentence for sentence. I could see every single bit of action in my head. It is so brilliantly written. It's so incredibly fantastic, and I genuinely think if you want like a horror for this October, Camp Damascus is, you know, and you haven't read Camp Damascus yet, you absolutely should, because this is beyond fantastic. Bury Your Gaze is one that I actually read first. Like I said, I read this at the beginning of the month, and I picked this up because the cover of this book is just beyond incredible. I love the cover of this book. This book follows Misha, who is a famous screenwriter in Hollywood, and he is told that he has to change the script because the script was going to have a happy ending and both characters were going to live, and he was told to either take the gay out or kill one of the gays at the end, and that's what the board wants, and if he isn't going to go with what the board wants, somebody else will take over as the writer and he can say goodbye to his project. Shortly after this meeting, Misha is then confronted by a range of different characters he has created. First character he meets, he believes is just a silly cosplay. This character is from one of his horrors and is something in a trench coat and comes up and asks for a light, and if you don't have a light, he'll kill you in a week. And they don't have a light at the table and they can't find one. They tell this character he doesn't have a light and he walks away. And things go downhill from there as he's greeted by more of his like abstract horrid characters that come to life and try to basically kill him and his friends. And he believes the studio is behind it. There is something a lot more sinister at play, and I kind of the plot twist of this is incredible. This book is beyond incredible. Bury Your Gaze is a very incredible book because I think Chuck Tingle does like a really fantastic job of just having twists within twists. In these two books, Chuck Tingle doesn't prolong the twist. Like when you come to the realisation, the character comes to the realisation at sort of like the exact same time, and I think that's a really refreshing like aspect to not have this like dragged all the way out to the end of like yes. And although that happens in Camp Damascus when you sort of are like yes, this is obviously the church, and the character is like yes, this is obviously the church, and then the rest of the book is how do we fix that? This book says well it has to be the studio, right? And then you find out something else on top of that which is so much more insane. That the horror levels didn't hit the same, but I think that the social commentary on creation, Hollywood, queerness in Hollywood, creating things for profit, AI, everything like that is explored so incredibly well in this book, and it was so interesting and it was done in such an incredible and interesting way that the horror aspect didn't really need to be amped up as the Camp Damascus book did. There are some pretty creepy, horrible scenes in this book, but there is less on the horror, body horror side of it, I guess. The social commentary might be a little bit on the nose, but it's done in a way that as a queer person reading it, you are part of the joke, or you are part of the conversation, and I think that is really incredible. Both of these books are some of the best books I have read this year. They are both 5-star books. Bury Your Gaze has really fantastic characters, has a really fantastic storyline, and I really like the conversation as well when it comes to queer people creating content, that it always has to be happy and smiley. It's just a very cool conversation. I feel like I haven't been able to sell these properly enough, but I want you to know that if you read anything this Halloween and you want something filled with horror, these books should be on your list because genuinely these books are beyond fantastic. I'm a Tingler stan. Chuck Tingle has another queer horror coming out next year, which I have pre-ordered because I'm very excited for it. I just think that the conversations are very current that happen in these books. I think that the horror is fantastic, and always I think that the writing is so, I don't want to say atmospheric, but it's just so well done, so well described, and it's not over described, or it's not like written in a very pretentious way, but it is written in a way that, like, reading these two is like literally reading a whole movie. And who knows, I may just spend the rest of my year reading Chuck Tingle eroticism, because I got nothing else going for me at the moment. So thank you so much for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you're all having a cozy, lovely October and a good Halloween. If you liked this video, like, comment, subscribe, all that good YouTube stuff, and I shall see you later. Bye!